Hey everyone, it's Nick with us. Nick with Us versus Herd. Man, been a long day. If it's your first time here, you like the content, hit the subscribe button. If you want to get notifications for when we go live, tap the bell. Looks like we're just getting going here. Well, YouTube was lagging a few seconds behind OBS. Anyways, if you want to get connected to the UVH fam, hit the links below to the Discord and our free option trading group. Come say hi. We want to get to meet you. What's going on, Tan? Clint, what's going on if you're here right now? Jeff, nice to see you guys. Happy Monday. Kicking things off. Just chilling. Hope you guys all made some money today. If you made money today, comment got paid. If you lost money today, comment learned a lesson. Yo, Cody, what's going on? Clint made some money today. Nice. Yeah, so kind of what I want to do for the agenda today. Go over BYND earnings, other earnings that you guys are thinking of, and let's see here. So who else had earnings? Nobody really we care about. Starman, what's up? Got paid. Small day trade on XLF. You want to review Baidu? Hank, yeah, let's take a look at Baidu as well. I would definitely like that. But yeah, let's look at yo Billy. Glad to see everyone here. Getting back into the swing of things. Kind of what I'm thinking of is doing videos. I'm starting to get back in the groove, getting videos. Mostly, I'm going to try Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and then I'm going whatever else we do will definitely be a bonus. But let's dig into BYND right now. Beyond Meat, they close at 222. Obviously, they hit a high of like 234. They're now trading at 194. And the expected move on these things on the options for BYND was plus or minus $41. So they were thinking of it hitting, it closes at 222, so like the 180 area or the 260 area was kind of the target area for BYND. So like 180 or the 260 area for BYND, and right now it's at 194. So right now, in terms of the expected move, it is underperforming. One thing that we want to look at here, some interesting things here. Apologize for the weird ads here. It's probably the shopping my wife does. So the takeaways here, Beyond Meat, they missed on their earnings per share, so they lost 24 cents versus the 8 cent expected. Revenue was a little bit better, 6.67 mil versus 52 million. The one thing that they did do is they raised the full year outlook. So they raised guidance, which what did the CEO say here? He says, BYND raises fiscal 2019 outlook for revenue and expects net sales for the full year to reach 240 million. Last quarter, in its first report since its May initial public offering, the company said that it was forecasting fiscal 2019 revenue of 210 million, a number that did not include sales from restaurants that were only testing the product. And CEO Ethan says we're being very conservative and viewing this as a floor. So, I would say that's pretty interesting that, yes, they didn't beat earnings or expectations, but they raised guidance, so they're feeling confident, which is probably why the stock isn't. I mean, the stock is moving, don't get me wrong, but it's not moving more than the $40 expected move on the plus or minus. The one thing that's also causing issue here is a secondary offering. So they're going to be offering 3 million shares, and it doesn't say who it's going to come from. It just says from certain selling shareholders, which is most likely big institutional holders. And Beyond Meat's going to offer 250,000 shares, which they're going to be used for to expand product supply, marketing, and general working purposes, which means they're just going to get a little bit of cash out of that, but they're only selling 250,000 shares. So that is kind of interesting. The secondary offering, which is probably, definitely probably impacting the price more than anything else. I mean, they're probably going to take a hit short term, but if they're confident in raising the guidance, what I see is that they're going to probably continue going on the upside here. I don't know what you guys think. Leave a comment. What you guys think of Beyond? People think it's a little bit ridiculous. It went from $45 to obviously $239.71 just a couple days ago. I mean, it is what it is. And the thing is with Beyond, like the people have been pumping money into it, and people keep trying to short it. A stock like this, you just don't get in front of like traders like us. We don't get in front of stocks like this and be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna be the guy that brings down Beyond Meat. I'm gonna be there for when it falls. I mean, yeah, it's probably gonna fall. I mean, yes, it went from last earnings, it went from, let's say, $100 all the way up to $187 in 2 days, and then it finally gave some back here, went down to 124, kind of was catching a base. And the thing is, people don't understand how to value this stock because there's no other real competitors in the marketplace right now that you can gauge. And in terms of Beyond, it's just you don't know what their growth is going to be. They've been signing on other restaurants and stuff like crazy, and they've just been nonstop moving, and they've been moving. They're having the secondary. They raised the guidance for the rest of 2019. So, if they're feeling confident, even though they missed earnings, they raised guidance. That's not that bad. I mean, I would like to see a little bit of a downtrend. I mean, it basically from 160 went all up to like 240. Nonstop. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's definitely ridiculous. I mean, people are probably buying this hand over fist. They probably got all the people calling up, hey, you guys are, all those 50-year-olds, like, hey, instead of going on vacation this year, why don't you invest in Beyond Meat? And it's already paid out X amount of dollars, and that's when, stocks like this, a lot of FOMO happens. People made a lot of money. People got rich. People were shorting a lot of money. Yeah, if the videos are used, you guys like the content, hit the like button. I want the start of the big short on Beyond not happening. Yeah, I mean the thing is about Beyond though, we've been watching them since they had the IPO and they kind of like. There's nothing in front of them. There was nowhere to go but up. JC, what's going on? Nice to have you here. If you're here right now, say what up. If you made money today, comment got paid. If you lost money today, comment learned a lesson. But people don't know how to value Beyond. Like when are they going to start making money? That's question number one. And what can we expect? When are they going to in next year? Are they going to reach like $1 billion in revenue? And the other thing that's dangerous about Beyond is how much money. It's hard to say what the pricing is going to be tomorrow, but because the expectation. I mean, these options are very, very expensive to trade. I did not trade Beyond because I can't bring myself to pay the premium for this. And you'd be like, well, why don't you sell? Because I don't sell premium on stocks like this because you could easily get in a lot of trouble. Dan, what's up? Dan Ring. Nice to see you. Yeah, P is like 150. So yes, I do think that the company is going to grow, but the stock price has to cut at some point. The stock price catches up with what the company is doing. Now, is the stock overvalued, undervalued? Are people buying it for a 5-10 year hold, or are they buying it for like a 6 month, 1 year hold? This could easily, like, let's say, I mean, it probably not, because they've had a lot of good news, a lot of good momentum. They probably weren't going to go from 200 down to 100 and saying, it's pretty much too early for them to start like turning things down, saying like, oh, we're going to cut back services, or we're going to shut down plants. I'm like, no, they just had the IPO. They're just ramping up. They're not going to just start having like bad news like that. Better off buying, yeah, penny stock on the upside. Stock price going to catch down. Yeah, I mean, eventually it'll get caught up, or level out. Like we've seen. Like we were looking at. This is, I would say Tilray is probably a bad example. But I mean, you can kind of see how things are going here. It went from 20 to 300, and now it's 40, and people are just watching. People that, and there's a lot of people that are bag holding Tilray right now that are waiting for that day. Waiting for that day for it to come back. And sure, it could. I mean, it easily could come back. Not saying it can't, but the companies need to do something to earn their stock price. And it's kind of, it's not, I would say it's not fair in a lot of ways, because a lot of companies right now are overvalued. And we're on this epic bull run. We just keep making new highs, and it's easy for stocks to get out of control. It's easy for people to just put money in there, and they keep making more money. They keep investing more money. They keep making more money, and they keep investing more money, until eventually one day everything is going to get caught up with us. Eventually, whether they kick the can for next year or 5 years or 10 years from now, I mean, we don't know. We just gotta, as traders and investors, we just gotta do our best. Invest, like if you're long-term investing, invest in companies that you feel comfortable with holding for a long period of time, and knowing that you don't need that money to survive or live, or don't put your mortgage in there, don't put your rent money in there. Kern. Oh, I don't know. I actually never heard of these guys. Yeah, they hit 72.60 up here, and just dropped down to 11. Probably going to penny stock land. Nobody wants to go to penny stock land. Sub $10. I mean, sub $5, sub 10, sub 5. I mean, you're in trouble. But yeah, in terms of Beyond, that was kind of my little rant. I'm gonna look at some of the trades that I did today, and then we can dive into some things that you guys wanted to do. Sounds like you're talking about a bubble. I agree, by the way. Yeah, it's hard to say what we're in. It's hard to say where you are until afterwards. No one thinks you're in a bubble until after the bubble explodes, right? Because people, bubbles go beyond the point that you think the market can handle it. Like, we keep going up, keep going up, keep going up, keep going up, until one day we don't, like we saw back in this is way too much data. Like we saw back in last fall, we kept going up until one day we didn't. They said, no, we're going to take this cash out. Money enters the market, money leaves the market, and that's just kind of where we're at right now. So today I didn't do a whole. The trades I did do were very, very small trades. Since most of you, if you guys have been with me for a while, have known that I took some time off. I've been working on some different content, working on getting some stuff organized, and also I've been working on my other businesses. And I did a couple trades today. Did end up the day green. I just put these trades on in Tastyworks. So I lost $13 on CGC. I made $4 on Netflix, and I made $59 on Tesla. So overall, we're up $50. But some trades were good, some trades were not good. And I've been kind of mixing it up lately. I don't know if you guys have been noticing, if you're on the Discord or the Facebook. I normally don't do day trades, and I would consider myself a swing trader. And in this case, recently, in the last couple of weeks, I've been mostly day trading. So let's look at the reason why. So Netflix I put on this morning. I kind of botched this trade here this morning. So I bought Netflix for 262 at 10 a.m. this morning. So at 10 in the morning, it was right in here. It was just starting to wake up. It kind of fell off. As you know, Netflix is another one of those that did not have good earnings last quarter, and they paid dearly for it. If you're looking at the 1-year chart here, But what I was looking at here was the 330 mark. As soon as I started making trades after it broke up at 330, I know it's a little bit late, but I just wanted to be sure. I lost some opportunities here on these last couple of green days because I didn't think it was gonna go up that fast. But as soon as it broke the 330 range here and it was looking like it was going to make a push to close this gap up here to 340, I started to put some trades on. So I did trade Friday and I did trade today. So at 10 a.m., I wish I sold it up here when it pushed up to 332 area, because it really just sat there the rest of the day. And at 11:15, so about an hour and 15 minutes later, when it was looking like it's going to make its downturn, so right in here, it was stalling out. I thought it might return to 330. I just cut it, and I figured I could always re-enter. So I only made $4 on that. So I bought it for 262 and I sold it for 266. The next trade I did was CGC. Was a tip from my man Billy. I figured I'd go in on the trade with him. CGC was a little bit of a dangerous trade. That's why I did a pretty tight stop. I was looking at CGC here. It was below. It was around 33 when I put it on. What time did I put that trade on? I was at 10:34. So all my trades mostly was before noon, between 10 and 11 a.m. this morning, and I came away with only $50. Netflix went up as high as like $40 profit, but I only made $4 on it because I didn't cut it in time, because I thought it was gonna run pretty hard, and it didn't. So CGC I bought for 48 cents at 10:34, and what I was looking at on CGC here was I was thinking it was going to return at 34. I had the 34 calls, and I wasn't looking to make a lot of money on this. I've been trading. My comfort has been trading around 30 to 40 deltas for buying options. So I've been trading pretty comfortably, pretty profitably last few weeks at 30 to 40 deltas, and that's kind of been my sweet spot. So if anybody is wondering, Tyler, Nick unban me. I'm sorry, I don't know what I did. Sorry. Shoot me a message on Tyler. Shoot me a message on Facebook or Discord or Instagram or wherever you find me. Links are below to my profile, so we can talk about it. I don't know what you got banned on. Anyways, so what my stop on CGC is if it broke below 33, I was just going to cut it loose, and it did. I lost the $13 on it, which was my only losing trade today. I only lost $13, so it's not like a big deal. But whether you're losing big or small, or winning big or small, you got to build in those disciplines. You got to stay disciplined. You can't set profit targets where you go. I always shoot for what the stock is doing, because options rely on the underlying for the stock to move, and also if you're trading the deltas and implied volatility and all that, it all counts. And obviously delta and implied volatility always change, but the stock's going to do what the stock's going to do, and you have to have a plan for what the underlying is going to do, which is the stock. And in this case, I was looking at the 33 mark. If it broke below 33, could definitely get. We were already in dangerous territory, so I cut it, and obviously it did come back up. And let's see what CGC. So they were going for 51. So I only would have made $3 on it if I held into the close. So I wouldn't have made any money. The only thing I would have incurred was more risk by holding on to that trade. Then I traded Tesla. So Tesla Tesla, we made some money back, and I had the 235 calls, which obviously, if you guys were watching Tesla today, we definitely sold a lot. We definitely sold early. So I have the I paid 261 at 11:16 a.m. and by 11:42 I sold it for 320. So within a half an hour, I cut that loose, and we could have held, but I really wanted to go green on the day, and because I've been just trading small and just been making small trades, and also I've been trading stocks that are moving big, like Tesla and Netflix have been moving big. Obviously, they had this huge earnings drop here, but at 11:15, I definitely, the reason also why I didn't let it run even further is because I caught the move like right in here, right before this big candle. I caught the move like right in here, right at the start of this candle here, like 230. And what I was looking at was, I was setting a tight stop on this because it ran from basically 226 to 230. I was saying, okay, if it drops below 230, I'm gonna have a tight stop. I'm going to just cut this trade and move on. But in this instance, it moved up to within 30 minutes. I closed it out like at the top of this candle right here at around 233. It was a little bit over 233. I was able to cut it for the $50 profit. I mean, I'm not complaining. I did make let's see, 20% on that. So I bought it for 260. Yeah, we made roughly 20% on that within 30 minutes. So I'm definitely not complaining. It was a good trade. Wasn't like an amazing trade, but Baron, what's up? Wasn't an amazing trade, but we really stayed disciplined into keeping that, because this could easily, as if you guys traded Tesla before, I mean, I've traded it a lot where it runs up, it could easily fall back down. I mean, this run could have went from 225, and knowing that they had bad earnings, you always have to think about the news they just had. Did they have good earnings, bad earnings, whatever the case is? Because that's still a factor here. The earnings that they had is still in play here. I mean, they had earnings like 3 days ago. So when it runs from 225, and it's starting to get a little toppy here, which it did, this could have easily gone back down to 228, 226, and I could have been on stream today and be like, okay, we lost 50% on that Tesla trade. Thankfully, I stuck to my disciplines, and we made some money, and we went green on the day. This is a pretty nice candle here. It was a pretty good downtrend that just reversed, and then they closed, obviously at 235.77, and that at close the 235s were in the money for 490, and I cut it for 320. So show you here the 235s here are 490. So you gotta stay disciplined. You gotta stay disciplined, because the times you can let your runners run, you can cut your losers, whatever the case is. But if you don't stick to the plan and you don't know how the stock trades, that's why I say a lot of times you have to understand how certain stocks move before you trade them. Definitely paper track. If there's new stocks that you haven't traded before, don't go all in and do like massive trades. Do like little pieces. Just a little bit at a time. The other one that I forget who brought it up. I want to talk about Baidu. Baidu, actually, I've been trading a little bit. About 2 weeks ago I traded it. I made a little bit of money on a day trade, and I find that I think it's easier to day trade Baidu than it is to wait for the move to happen. Because sometimes I notice about Baidu, it just burns your premium up, especially when it's down here. We're at we're only $7 away from the 52-week low. We came from 257 last year all the way down to 106, and now we're at 113. The one thing that I do like about Baidu is that there's pretty nice ranges on the intraday. Like today it went from 114 down to 112, back up to like 113. So that there's definitely there's definitely action both ways. As it came down, you also had some nice moves to the upside. Literally went from 111 to 116 in 2 days, and that's some good money there. But you just got to be careful how to trade it, because also the options are not as liquid. The bid and the ask get a little wide sometimes. I mean, this week's they're actually pretty good. I see some nice volume here on a lot of volume here on the calls. A lot of volume here on the calls, but on the puts, not as much volume as you can see. So you can see how this gets very skewed very fast. So if people, there's at the 115s, there's 1,500, almost 1,500 volume. On the 120s for this week, there's 2,100, and there is on the 125 there's 1,000 volume. Also, there's a lot of news right now about the trade deal with China, which this is a Chinese stock. If you don't know, Baidu's like the Chinese Google. It's the Google of China, and it's just been getting punished. And so you gotta be mindful. You gotta be mindful that this stock's also wrapped up in the China news and all that stuff. So just be mindful of that. And let's see, next week volume on these actually have been picking up. 196 volume, 248 volume is not that great, and a bid and ask of 7 cents here. 6 cents is not so bad, but then when it gets 7-10 cents, it gets a little dicey. I definitely, like right here, this 121 call, 35 cents and 27 cent bid. There's 1,000 volume on it, but the bid and the ask for that's a bit ridiculous. So you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful on stocks like that, kind of like CMG as well. CMG got upgraded this morning by Goldman Sachs, and they closed yesterday at Friday at 780 and hit 811. They're starting to get their groove back after being hated on for so long. But you can see how these, a lot of money to be made here, but you got to be very careful. We got 50 cent wide bid in the ask. This bid in the ask is almost $1. I find it difficult to trade. Yo, Boris, what up? If you're here right now, say what up. I find it difficult to trade. You can make money. I have made money on CMG in the past, but you gotta be real careful, because also, like, if you're looking to push it out a couple weeks, volume tends to dry up. If I'm looking like 18 days out, you can see like volume here today was only none of them even reached 500 on the call side, and then on the puts, it was nothing. Puts is even like 1,000 altogether. So CMG is definitely a tough one, but it is in play. I've been watching it to kind of see. I've been watching it to see where I can gain an edge here, but I have not found it. You gotta, when you're trading options, you're trading stocks. You gotta find an edge. You gotta find an angle to put the trade on. You can't just go follow. You can follow the trends and all that. It's all good, but that only works for so long. You gotta find an angle or find a position that you can see clearly that will make money, and that's when you start to become a winning trader. But yeah, that was all my trades for today. Any other stocks you guys want to look at real quick here? Qualcomm. Yeah, their charts all over the place here. I don't even know. The thing about Qualcomm, I think, yeah, they're on their bid in the ask is not too bad actually, but you can see here, volume is lower, but the bid in the ask is a lot tighter here than like on Chipotle. Yeah, the bid and the ask. So the market makers have a better market for Qualcomm than like Chipotle for some reason. Well, also Chipotle is a $800 stock as well. Disney. Yeah, Disney had some good press. I find I traded Disney a bit last year, and I found it very slow to move. But as you can see here, this year is definitely picked up in the last 4 or 5 months. As you can see here, like down in here is really dead and takes they just eat your premium up, and also it's also really it's not worth it to sell a premium in there because it was just like pennies. You weren't really making any money. But now that Disney is definitely moving. I mean, today it moved up $1.74, and we had some pretty good options, pretty high volume on these. 7,000 for the 7,000 volume on the 147s, 5,000 volume on the 146s, and Disney's just catching its groove. I mean, if you're looking at, they're going to have their streaming service. If you look in the last 5 years, they were really just stuck between like 80 and 120 for the last 5 years, and then once it broke out of range, I mean, that's it. So they're kind of switching from being a media company to being a technology company. They're going to start aligning it. Like, people don't think of Netflix as a media or entertainment company, really. You think of Netflix as a tech company. And now that Disney's going to be supplying their own platform, I mean, they have Hulu, and then they're going to have their own streaming service, which is going to be, I think, more family-friendly content. And it's going to be, I think it's going to be pretty cheap as well. And they also have right now, for the first time ever, they have Disney has put out. I think I saw, what was the tweet? It was a tweet I saw yesterday. They have all 5 of the top 5 movies for the year of 2019. So I think Avengers, Lion King, Aladdin, all these other movies, they've released the top 5 movies of 2019. They all released by the same studio. So it's not that Disney, people are thinking that Disney's overvalued, but in my opinion, Disney's undervalued because it didn't have a chance to break out. It didn't have a chance. It's just been trading in a range for 5 years, and now that it's finally broken out, it's starting to catch up. Disney makes money. Disney's continuing to grow. People are watching their movies, and then people are most likely going to buy their streaming service. Now it's hard to say how many people, and is it going to be worth it for those families to do so, and will the streaming service add to the bottom line? I know one of the big issues in the last couple of years with Disney is ESPN. Their ESPN properties have really tanked Disney and really held it down because ESPN was really having some issues. But now that Disney's releasing the Marvel movies and they have full control of Fox, and there's a lot of potential there because they have full control over the Fox studios, and also all their Marvel characters like Deadpool, X-Men, and they're going to bring that in. And outside of that, then they have the streaming service. So it's, I would say that Disney was undervalued. I would like to, in my opinion, I would like to see it come back down to 120 and then push back up. But I mean, it's probably not likely unless they bomb earnings or something, or we have another huge sell-off this fall. Zynga, possible takeover from Facebook. Yeah, I don't know. So I know there's a lot of rumors. The one thing that I will say about buyout rumors, I know Zynga is doing pretty well, and the stock price is definitely reflecting that. I mean, they've definitely had some issues because I don't know if anyone remember, like Farmville, Mafia Wars, and all that stuff. Zynga was like the premier gaming platform for Facebook. And they basically rode on Facebook until Facebook started to tone that noise down. They were like, hey, people don't want to get Farmville requests, all these game room requests in their inbox. We're going to tone all that stuff down. We're going to put that stuff in the back burner. So they took a hit in terms of popularity. I mean, still a lot of people play these games, and they're starting to move back into positive territory here. But I don't, when it comes out for me, when it comes to takeovers, like you can't just be waiting around. If you want to buy shares and hold on, that's good. But trading options is usually a losing game for takeover acquisition cost talks, because most times it takes a very long time for takeovers or acquisitions to take place. And options, one thing about options is they're very time sensitive. So unless you're buying options for like 5 years out, 2 years out, whatever the case is, if you're buying options like far down the line, that's one thing. I mean, if you believe in it and you think you're going to make money on it, buy 100 shares and just hold on. It's cheap enough. It's cheap enough, or buy a couple hundred shares, whatever you want to do. It's cheap enough. It's only $6 stock right now. So if you believe in Zynga and you think that they're going to have a takeover, I mean, I would play that way. I wouldn't. Trading options for takeovers is never really a winning strategy. You're going to lose more money more times than you do make it. 6 top guys that's still playing Farmville. Square drop like a rock. I saw that, and a lot of stocks dropped this morning. I mean, Netflix dropped like that. Roku dropped like that. The whole Nasdaq. If you're looking at Nasdaq, I mean, it was pretty lined up. At one point, Nasdaq's down, closed at like 14, down 14. Nasdaq was down like 40, 50 points at one point, which is a lot. And Dow was up 100 almost, and the S&Ps were down like 4 at some point, I think, like that. So Nasdaq was just getting killed. They were just. You mean you didn't accept my Farmville request? Yeah, man. So, anyways, guys, if you enjoy the content, hit the like button. Definitely have fun. We got a lot of stuff coming. Definitely appreciate you. If you're new to this stream, hit subscribe and hit the links below to our Discord and options trading group. Stay safe, stay green. It's always us versus herd.